Three, two.
This moment, we own it, man. Man, if it dangerous, be these people. All right, dude. Josh, when are you gonna chime in, bro?
Dude, you caught me off guard. That's a difference. Is that the same song that you planned on singing?
Yeah, that's the chorus.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we own it. We own it from like Wiz Khalifa. I think,
Oh, okay. Then it's been a long day without you, my friend.
Charlie Puth, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Jesus. Ow! Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Coworkers Podcast. Yet again, another episode where we sing. I am Regan.
And I'm Josh, a.k.a. Charlie Puth. I'm his ghostwriter. I'm his ghost singer.
There we go. And hopefully that little intro gave you guys a hint of what we're going to talk about today.
Because we have a focus topic. We have one series of movies to tackle, and the latest entry just came out Friday.
Yeah.
Reagan, what series are we talking about?
We're going to talk about the F9, The Fast Saga. But before we do that,
we're going to talk about I was going to call it the Fast Trilogy, but there's 8 other movies.
Yeah, there's like nine
well, yeah,
movies.
there are 9.
Yeah.
Because there's a spin-off.
Yeah.
So, to start things off, me and Reagan are going to quickly run through our thoughts about each and every single Fast and Furious movie.
Wait, hold on.
From what we remember.
You don't want to talk about what we watched first?
To be honest, Fast and Furious was like the only thing I watched.
Oh, because there's a movie that it's fine. We'll save it for next time, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
we'll just have an extended what we watched what we watched over the week next week. Yeah. Because we got quite the behemoth to tackle this week. So jumping right into it, we are going to start with the original Fast and Furious. Reagan, what do you remember from the original Fast and Furious?
Why is the Buster in here? Because the Buster kept me out of handcuffs.
Oh my god.
That's what I remember.
We're just going to keep on quoting things.
Yeah.
Toretto!
SWAT came into my house, disrespecting my whole family because somebody ratted me out. And you know what? It was you.
I didn't rat on no one.
No, I don't know. It's the first Fast and Furious was such like a product of its time.
It very much is. It feels like a
2000s.
time capsule movie.
For real.
Uh-huh.
And like, and everyone always says like, oh, like it's not even about street racing anymore. It's about like spies or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, all the newer ones, right?
Yeah, all the newer ones. But because this is street racing at its very core. You know what I mean? Because that was big in the early 2000s.
It's a crime movie set in the backdrop of like street racing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and that's when like JDM cars and like and like modifying all those cars like got super big, like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
And so, and
I guess
it's very evident in this film.
Mm-hmm. And that's what this movie wanted to capture,
Yeah.
All these flashy cars, street races and whatnot,
exactly.
the illegal activity. And then on top of it, they just wanted to throw a crime plot that involved...
it's like Point Break. It's Point Break. Yeah, but...
And then, Paul Walker is
he's an undercover
cop. He's a good driver.
Cop,
yeah. So then he decides to try to infiltrate, go behind enemy lines.
Because the whole thing is that in order to fund... their cars, because parts are super expensive.
Don't they steal electronics?
Yeah, they steal like DVD players.
Yeah, that's
CD
so
players,
old, bro.
Like TVs and stuff.
CRTs.
Yeah,
my god.
They steal it from these big semi trucks that are delivering them, and like it's a super elaborate scheme that Toretto and his entire like family. The first time we're introduced to that faded F word. Yeah. But yeah, man, it's just such a capsule of his time.
Yeah, I really appreciate it for like its early 2000s corniness and all that stuff it represents.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm pretty like lax on it. Like I don't mind putting it on and getting nostalgic.
It's like a novelty almost.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you just have fun with it.
And it's pretty interesting to look at it now. We are 9-10 movies into this series. Like it's humble beginnings.
Oh yeah.
So what would you rate it?
I haven't seen it in so long. Well, I think I'd give it like a B plus.
A B plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like for the most part, the Fast and Furious movies range from like serviceable to like fun entertainment. So they usually hover around like the 5 or 6 range for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like the first Fast and Furious is like a decent to strong 5. Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
So what about,
we have good times quoting.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Jaw Rule. Shout outs to Jaw Rule.
Where is Jaw?
Nobody knows.
Okay, well,
moving on to Fast 2.
Too Fast,
Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah. I'm too fast for y'all,
man.
Well, I gotta give Too Fast, Too Furious props for introducing some of the best characters in the series.
Ludacris.
We got Tej.
Oh yeah, Tej.
Ludacris is Tej, and Roman Pierce, Tyrese Gibson's character.
Oh, that's right. Ejectocito.
Ejectocito, cuz. And it's funny because like you could tell that the way like Tyrese was acting in this movie. I this is actually the one that I saw most recently before F9.
Yeah.
I saw it like a few months ago, and I think it's crazy to see like how he portrays himself on screen, because it just feels like maybe Tyrese Gibson is just playing like a heightened version of himself.
Yeah.
He's very like bombastic and
like
exaggerated,
like braggadocious.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good word.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you also noticed how there are some incredible homoerotic undertones between Brian and Roman in this movie?
Really?
There's like some mad like bromance going on.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they had like, a history together.
I mean, they do have a history together. What kind of history? Nobody knows. But I mean, like, it's the way that like their interactions are like portrayed on camera, and how close they tend to get into each other's faces whenever there's like a scuffle.
Yeah.
You remember when Brian gets tasked with finding a person for his crew? So he's like, I know a guy. So they go to the demolition lot to go pick up Roman.
Yeah.
And then Roman's like, you left me, man. You snitched on me and you left on me. And they get like up in each other's faces, and then they start fighting.
Yeah.
There's a part in the scuffle when they're both sitting down on the floor and their legs are like interlocked in between each other.
Interesting.
And they're just like staring each other down, bro.
Nice.
It's pretty interesting.
Nice.
But I think that just adds to the family and the camaraderie of this movie.
I remember I was watching like some video where they were trying to explain the timeline of the Fast and Furious saga.
Oh, that shit's gonna get fucked.
And someone said that the villain in Too Fast Too Furious is like a knockoff Matthew McConaughey.
He kind of is. He looks like great value Matthew McConaughey, bro.
All right.
Just minus the all right. He's just like okie dokie.
Because the whole thing or the whole plot about this is that, you know, Brian is on the run. He drove from California
to Miami,
all the way to Miami in a Skyline, in a Nissan Skyline.
Holy shit.
And then he kind of like made a name for himself in the racing circle there. He gets caught, and then the FBI is kind of like, look, you help us, we'll expunge your record.
Yep.
We have to catch, what's his name? Verone, right?
Yeah, Verone.
But
oh my god,
what is he doing? Like drugs? Is he dealing drugs?
I think it has to do with drugs, like money laundering, something along those lines.
Like yeah. But yeah, that's the whole
pretty
plot.
much the premise of the movie.
And then in the end, Brian and Rome drive a car onto a boat.
Yeah, a muscle car. This is when the stunts, they're starting to experiment. They're starting to experiment with the stunts.
Because the first one, they had a Supra and a Challenger.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a Supra and a Challenger beat a train.
And that was the biggest stunt. It's not the fact that they beat the train. It's the fact that shortly after, a little truck was poking its head out of an intersection, and then Toretto crashed into it.
Yeah.
And
and then this one, they jump.
It's getting more art house. It's getting more experimental.
They jump into a boat.
And you know what? By the end of it, pockets ain't empty. Pockets ain't empty. Man, like, you want to talk about like products of its time? This is like
again. This is for sure.
Again.
Yeah. Have you seen the turbocharged prelude?
That's the part where they explain how
it's like
Brian gets from California to Miami.
Yeah,
right?
it's like
and
a
he
short
gets the Skyline, right?
Yeah, he gets the Skyline, but he starts with like a 3000 GT. It's a Mitsubishi 3000 GT, and he's racing around like the United States. On his way to Miami, and as he's racing, he earns the money to get the Skyline, and he even paints the Skyline, and it's like this little short film they did just to fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
they're building a universe, dude.
Yeah, they really are.
Before the MCU did it, dude.
The Fast universe. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I I think this movie has like funnier instances of like, why did we get from one point to the other? Like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Like the races to like prove loyalty, and the part with the rat in the nightclub scene. It's all so like weird. But I think Too Fast and Furious might not be a better movie than the first one, but I think it's a hell of a lot more enjoyable just because of how wacky it is.
Yeah, and plus, like, I like the cars still, you know.
Yeah, I still like the cars.
And like, I remember I was telling you this after we watched F9, was that after a certain point, there's no like staple car for each movie anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like in the first one, you had the orange Supra, the green Eclipse, the Dom's Challenger or whatever, and like Jesse's Jetta and whatever. That
Jetta,
Yeah, right. Iconic. Those are like iconic cars. Mm-hmm. And then this one, you have the green Evo and the
Skyline, bro.
Yeah, of course, Skyline. Can't forget about that. But the purple Eclipse, with the chrome wheels.
That shit is wild.
But
kinda gross, yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's like when you see that car, you think of Too Fast and Furious, right?
Most definitely.
When you see like the orange Supra, you think of the first movie, right?
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about crazy like car stunts going on in this movie? Remember at the end, they were like, we're gonna have a scramble, and there's like 80 cars coming out of the garage.
Dude, that's my favorite scene.
Me too. I remember it vividly. I remember it like when my older brother and I had the DVD for Too Fast, Too Furious. Mm-hmm. We would always pick that scene, and it starts with that overhead shot from the helicopter, watching the police cars chase them into the storage like space. Yeah, and then all the cars come flooding out. But then
it's like there's like a moment of silence, right? They pause, and then the garage doors come up,
and then trucks come out.
Trucks come out and pushes the cop cars away, and then all the other cars come out. It's so sick.
Yeah,
it's so fun. But yeah.
You want to talk about products of its time too? Eva Longoria's character is just a damsel in distress. Back in the early 2000s when no one really knew how to write a female character. Yeah.
He even comes back later on, dude. Did you know that?
Did she?
Yeah, for like the end credit scene for like Fast 5.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I have Fast 5 right there.
But
looks like I'm rewatching that tonight. So what would you rate Too Fast and Furious?
I'll give it like a low B minus.
Yeah, maybe it's like a 4. Kind of sounds harsh, but I don't think it's. I think it's so ridiculous that like. Yeah. I'm feeling a 4. You know what? Also, that I noticed with this movie, I don't know if it had to do with the production design or the budget behind it, but there's something about the way it's filmed that makes it look really cheap.
Really?
And I just think it's funny. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like almost like a VHS movie or something.
Direct to DVD.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and you know what else is funny? Roman's always hungry.
I'm hungry, man.
Yes. And then there's the part when they're talking to the police officers in like this dingy like motel or something like that. And Roman picks up the bag of food. And the guy's like, hey, that's mine. He's like, and then he just doesn't respond with Tim. That part's hella funny.
Oh, damn, what a movie.
Okay, now we're going to get to when the movie tried to get very experimental. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, the third one.
Drift? What do you mean drift?
You know what DK stands for?
Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong. That is iconic.
Oh
Did they go from like the heart of the movies? Paul Walker, like Brian. I consider him the heart of the movies, you know? It's like you have Toretto.
He's like the face of the movies.
He's the face, but the heart is, you know, I think Brian.
It's Paul Walker. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And they replaced him with his name's Sean, right?
Yeah, Sean Boswell.
You remember his last name?
Because my sister loves that movie. She watches it anytime she gets a chance to.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah, because his whole thing is that, you know, he's been bouncing from like school to school because he just doesn't get along with people. And his like,
and he wants to prove himself.
Yeah, because his parents are divorced. His dad's like a
mechanic in Japan.
No, he's a officer in the Navy.
Oh yeah, that's why he's stationed in Japan.
And then his mom is like, I don't know what the fuck his mom is.
They don't show the mom.
Well, they do, but like only for a little bit.
Oh yeah, when he gets arrested.
Yeah.
But let's go talk about the beginning of the movie. How ridiculous it is, because he essentially commits an act of domestic terrorism.
Oh, when he runs through all those fucking like
the houses under construction. Yeah. So let's set up the scene a little bit. He gets bullied by some jocks. He gets into his beatermobile.
Well,
he challenges them to a race.
No, but first they throw a baseball at him and it shatters his window.
That's why, that's right.
And then he gets out with a wrench and he's ready to like beat the fuck out of them. And then the girl's like, "Why don't you guys just settle this with a race?"
Yeah, in a race.
Or whatever the fuck.
And then they do that, and I think the funniest part about that character Sean is that he goes to high school, but he looks like he's 30.
Yeah.
He looks way too old to be a part of that high school. Even all those other jocks look too old.
Yeah.
But anyways, they do the street race in like a construction lot where they're building houses. And in order to win, Sean takes his muscle car and drives through a bunch of like wood planks, like where houses are going to be erected, you know, like where they're building them.
Yeah.
And just drives through like 7 houses, completely demolishing them, but winning the race, I think. Did he win? Because the other car crashed.
I think so. No, he ended up crashing too at the end.
Okay.
He won, but they both crashed.
Yeah. And
from there,
they don't send Sean to jail.
Yeah.
Maybe because he might be underage. I don't even know.
I
Like
don't know.
that would make things worse.
Yeah,
Because like he does not fit the bill. But anyways, he gets sent to Japan, and then he gets
his dad.
Yeah,
Yes,
to live with his dad, and he learns the wonderful world. He learns about the wonderful world of drifting.
Yeah.
And this is when that culture of like, car culture was being explored. First it was street racing.
Yeah, which I'm glad they did. Which I'm glad they kind of, poked their head in.
Because I remember only seeing that concept of like drifting and like cars doing that in like video games, like Need for Speed.
Right.
Stuff like that. Now there's a whole movie about it. And they got cool JDM cars and like all these crazy foreign cars.
Yeah, dude.
And it was pretty awesome. It's a movie that I feel like it has higher budget because it's set in a new place, so they like played around with some of like the ambient lighting and whatnot, and the fact that it does look a bit crazier, like the streets Tokyo, even like the part in the parking garage, like when the car's like drifting.
Yeah,
those parts are pretty cool.
No, it's sick. Like in terms of how creative they got with like all the drifting scenes.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool.
It's a nice movie to just like show off the concept and to show off like cars.
Yeah, and seeing them drive in that garage and seeing them inches away from like a barrier. Yeah. And they're like swinging their car left and right. Like it's sick.
Yeah, that part's really cool. But that's all like the really cool parts that I could give the movie, because everything else, characters, writing, it's pretty dog water.
Dude, you don't like the green Volkswagen Touran? Twinkie's green Volkswagen that's based off of the Hulk?
Bro, the Hulk mobile. I remember the scene when Twink is so excited to show off his car, and they go to that rotating car garage. He has
his quick release wheel in his hand. He's like all giddy.
He's all giddy, and then like one car passes by, and they're like, "Nope." Another car.
It's like Porsche, Ferrari,
hella nice cars.
Right? Yeah.
And then the Hulk mobile with the big ass like foot imprint on it. Man, this movie's fucking wild. But the big thing that the movie did introduce is Han. A fan favorite. They
introduced
character.
him and killed him off at the same time.
Yep.
Which we'll touch upon later.
Yeah. But at the time of watching Tokyo Drift, people might think, "Oh, this guy's so cool. He's got that super cool orange car. Like, no one wants to fuck with him."
The orange Mazda.
The orange Mazda.
RX-7. Ooh.
And then that shit gets demolished. Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie's left up to Sean.
Yeah.
Learning how to drift down a mountain.
Yeah. And there's cool montages of him trying again with the staple cars, the Red Evo.
The Red Evo.
He's training
that part's
with the Red
really
Evo.
cool. Yeah.
And then in the end, there's another montage where they're putting the I think the S14 engine into the Mustang. Mm-hmm. And they actually did that in real life. Mm-hmm. And so they turned that Mustang into a drift car.
Pretty
which
awesome.
Is sick.
Mm-hmm.
Again, another staple car. Yeah, and then from there it's like, why do they race again?
I don't remember. Something has to do with the dad?
With the dad? I don't think so.
Isn't it because like the guy they're fucking with is like he comes from like a opulent family?
The Yakuza family.
Yeah.
And then like his girlfriend falls in love with Sean. Oh god, are they fighting?
Is that
fighting
what
over
it is?
a girl?
They're fighting over a girl? I think that's
so.
what it is.
Oh god.
Gaijin.
Gaijin.
You know what you are? You a gaijin.
Yeah. And then like basically they challenge each other for a race.
And then Sean gets the girl. And then
oh god.
And then at the end, when they're chilling in the parking garage, Twink is like, yo, someone wants to race you.
Yo. Okay, all right, we'll break it down. And he goes, not tonight, Twinkie. He goes,
knew Han.
Said he knew Han. Said Han was family. Turns around, turns over his shoulder. All right, let's race. And then now he's driving like, I think it's the S14 still, but it's like newly built.
Yeah.
It's in honor of Han, right? And then it's pulling up. And I don't know what kind of car that this person was driving, but it's an American muscle car.
It's a muscle car.
Right? So
all you need to know.
There's the shot from left to right of the front bumpers, from left to right. And it's like, who could this be? Who could this be? And then those chords start to come in. From Los Bandoleros. That song.
Yup, that music.
And then as Sean is like pulling up, the camera starts to pan from left to right, and you see Toretto's bald ass head. And then you realize it's fucking Toretto.
Yeah.
And then
it's this motherfucker.
Yeah. And then what does he say? I forgot what he said.
Did he say something like knowing Han like family?
He was like, nice ride. I won it from my friend Han a few years ago. I didn't know he was into American Muscle. He was when he was rolling with me.
Oh my God.
You know this ain't no 10-second race. I got nothing but time. and then from there they race.
And then that's how the movie ends.
Dude, when I saw that when I was younger, because like I was watching them all in order.
Yeah.
And then I saw Vin Diesel.
The shiny ass head.
I was like, no fucking way. Yep. No fucking way.
They knew each other.
They're doing it. They're doing it. And then I was like, oh, that's a sick ass scene. I fuck with that.
And then that's Tokyo Drift. Yeah. What do you rate Tokyo Drift?
I give that shit like a C plus.
Yeah, I'm giving it like another 4.
Aside from the scenes that we talked about, a lot of it is just very like.
It's so like corny and it's so like meandering.
Everything's so like segmented. It doesn't flow. Like, you know what I mean?
Like we could talk about like the highlights, like the parts that jump out to us.
Yeah.
But what comes before and after it? Who knows? It's just random luck, you know?
Yeah.
But now we're moving on to
Fast and Furious, the 4th installment.
You know what? This is the one that I remember the least.
It's pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
That's the consensus.
All I remember is Mexico Tunnel.
Yeah, everyone. The consensus is that this movie is pretty forgettable, aside from some cool scenes.
Because I think this is the movie when like they became aware of like wanting to make it like a big high budget like bonanza of like stunts and effects.
Yeah.
And this is their first foray into like fully embracing it.
Yeah. Well.
And
So Tokyo Drift came out in 2006. And then Fast and Furious came out in 2009, so there was like a 3-year gap. And so it brought back the characters of Toretto.
Brian,
Mia, Letty.
Is this the one where Letty became...
No,
it's not this one?
This is where she like croaked.
Oh, okay.
Because her whole... So basically, Brian, because of what he did in Too Fast, Too Furious, he is now... he's now reinstated in law enforcement, but this time with the FBI. And you know, Toretto's still on the run because of what happened. Before I continue, did you see the other prelude?
Yeah, that's right. This movie had a prelude.
Like
no,
Los
I did not.
Bandoleros or something like that. Oh, well, basically, it's like it catches you up with like what Toretto was doing ever since he like.
Since the first Fast and Furious.
Yeah. And basically, it's just, I think he ran off to Mexico with Letty, and they got married.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, like, Letty was just trying to find a way to, like, get Dom his freedom back.
Yeah.
And so she, like, did some, like, shady schemes with, like, the FBI, and, like, which ended up getting her killed. And that's what motivates Dom to come back to the United States, is to find out who killed Letty. And blah, 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 and like take revenge, right? And the FBI gets wind of this, and they task Brian of trying to catch him. Mind you, there's some animosity there because, what was it? Dom's still upset that, you know, he brought him into their family and he betrayed them.
Yep.
So the first, like, half of that movie is about that. Just, like, that animosity between them. I guess Brian trying to get back on his good side.
Yeah.
But then Brian eventually admits, like, hey, Letty was trying to work for us. Like, she was trying to, like, get you your freedom back. And then they reconcile, and then like, oh, I almost forgot. This is where they introduce Gal Gadot's character, Giselle.
Oh, I didn't even realize this is when they introduced her.
Yeah, no, it is.
Interesting.
Sorry, this movie is kind of like a mess. Like, honestly, it has like definite like tonal issues.
I see.
But yeah, and then Han came back, which is weird because we saw him die in the first one, but now he's back. But we see him.
This is when it gets messy.
Very messy. So we see him in the first like 30 minutes, then he's gone for the rest of the movie.
Yep.
And then that whole plot kicks in, and then basically what was happening is that there is this drug lord named Braga.
Yep. I remember this.
And he was hiring street racers to like smuggle in drugs from the U.S. from Mexico using tunnels into mountains to the U.S.
The Mexico tunnel.
Yeah, and so Letty was trying to get into that, but I guess they caught on to that she was working with the FBI, and they seemingly killed her.
Yep.
And so Dom wants to get revenge. Brian just wants to say fuck you to that drug lord guy. So they end up capturing him in Mexico, and then they try to race through the tunnels.
Yeah, I remember this part.
But as they're going through, like...
It, like, collapses, right?
No, it doesn't. Well, not yet. But they're getting chased by all these cars.
Uh-huh.
And then, as they're getting chased, Dom's like, get out of here, Brian. And so he takes his shotgun, points it at the cars, and shoots them. But I don't know... I've never seen, like, a shotgun, like, impact or whatever. But I'm not sure if a shotgun is supposed to resemble a fucking landmine. Because every time Dom shoots, like, his shotgun, those cars fly 30 feet in the fucking air.
Oh, my God. I don't remember that.
And they land back
part.
down. And yeah, that's basically the whole thing. They get Braga through, the U.S. border. Mm-hmm. He gets, tried for his crimes or whatever, smuggling drugs. And then I think the ending is the best part. Because Brian tries to expunge Toretto's record of like what he did, right?
Yeah.
Because of the events, like he helped bring Braga in, doesn't work. So they end up, locking Toretto up again. And so obviously they're not gonna let that happen. So what do? Brian, Mia, Leo, and Santos, the two those two dudes.
Yeah.
They break him out, and the way they break him out is. They take they take Dom's Challenger. Dom is in like this bus getting transported to another prison. So what they do is there's 3 different cars. There's 2 Hondas and the Challenger. Brian's in the Challenger. He drives up to the bus. And then Mia drives all the way up, right? What Mia does is she drives straight towards the bus, and that's to like sort of fake them out, so the bus can move maneuver away. And as Mia does that, Brian steps on the brakes, and the bus rams into Brian or the Challenger, and it does this 30 fucking spins on the fucking road. It flaps in itself. It's fucked. This bus is fucked. And then cut to black. That's basically that's the ending. They break Toretto out, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, that's the ending.
I don't remember this movie one fucking bit. Other than the Mexico
was that
tunnels.
the ending? I think it was the ending.
Okay.
Yeah. Which. Okay.
Well, as everybody could tell, me and Regan barely remember this movie.
It's a messy movie, dude.
So what do you rate it?
I give that shit a low C, dude. Like C-, bro.
Yeah. Just off of sheer forgettability, there's nothing I remember about the movie jumping out to me being awful. So it's kind of just forgettable. So it's 5 down the middle. I don't remember shit from it.
Yeah. And then that movie directly leads to Fast 5.
Yep. But before we get to that, before we tackle the second half of this this behemoth, let's have a word from our sponsor.
So if you're like me and Josh and you want to make your own podcast, why not use Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. So there are certain tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere that podcasts can be listened to. On top of that, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's free. So, what are you guys waiting for? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And we're back. And we talked about Fast and Furious, which directly leads to Fast 5, which I think the general consensus is everyone enjoyed this movie.
I think it's my favorite one.
It was like a pleasant surprise for everyone.
Yeah. I think it's helped due in part by introducing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Hobbs, his character, into the series, because he added a nice sense of charisma and like fun and humor because of the way he talked and the way he like says his dialogue, you know. Yeah. He's a very charismatic person, you know. Give me the damn veggies, like all that dumb shit he says. Oh god. And he's pretty over the top to like rival the weird low gravelly voice of like Vin Diesel and whatnot, you know, always just talking about family and like how Vin Diesel only talks in 2 volumes, like quiet or just absolutely yelling and blowing your eardrums out. Yeah. But I really enjoy this movie. I remember it starts off with that
it's like the train scene.
Yeah.
But you know, first it starts off with Brian and Mia, and then we eventually see Toretto.
It's in it takes place in
Brazil, Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, Rio de Janeiro.
Which hey,
this is Brazil.
I'm glad to see that Toretto's okay, because after that stunt that they pulled with the bus, I'm pretty sure
he died.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have died.
But you know, that's when the movie starts delving into that territory. Where physics go out the window and it gets fucking insane. Yeah. The end of that train sequence is the one where they're on the muscle car and it flies off the cliff, right?
Yeah, the old Corvette and they fly off the cliff. Yep.
I remember that vividly. Yeah. So what was the main job they were commissioned to do? Like Toretto?
No, they weren't commissioned to do anything. They did it on their own like volition. They
steal the safe?
They wanted to steal the safe. Like I think.
So they can travel, right?
Yeah, no, so they can just buy their freedom.
Buy their freedom.
Buy their freedom, do whatever the fuck they want. And so law enforcement gets wind of this, and like they hire Luke Hobbs, a DEA agent, to go and hunt them down. And for the most part, it almost works. Also, their old buddy Vince, the one who had a crush on Mia, and is jealous of
the
Brian.
one who gets shot with the shotgun when they're trying to steal TVs.
Yeah, he's back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, because he turns out he was hiding out in Brazil the entire time.
You know, coincidences, but
it
doesn't matter.
That's basically the whole thing. They're just trying to steal the safe, and Hobbs is trying to stop them.
I think by comparison, like just by like how we're talking about it, I find Fast 5 to be like pretty simple. Yeah. But it's like the means to get to their goal is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane.
Like the idea of taking that safe and demolishing a whole town, just driving it through there is insanity. It's like a heist movie.
It is very much a heist movie. It is.
I'm getting the fucking crew back together, but the crew is family.
Dude, this is like the Avengers of the Fast franchise. Getting all of the characters
under one roof.
Yeah, Giselle, Han, Rome, Tej, Mia,
the
Dom,
2 guys,
Leo and Santos, and Brian, getting them all together to pull off this heist. Like, it's sick, man.
And they're finally able to like get them all in one room to like talk with each other, to banter, to actually be the to be Dom's favorite thing, a family. Yeah, the honky no matter bunch. Where they are, and they all get to drink Corona while they do it. Salud mi familia. Yeah. There's so many parts in this movie that I find so iconic to the Fast franchise that it really like. Because of a lot of things in Fast 5, I think it became hallmarks for the series. Yeah. You know, Toretto's fascination with family, the Coronas, everybody working well together, like the insane...
This is where they really, like, delved into, like, the insanity of it all.
And I think it being the very first good attempt at this really captured, like, lightning in a bottle for Fast 5. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. I really enjoy it.
It's consistent.
And it's consistent from beginning to end. And yeah, it's just a good time. Regan, what do you rate it?
I give that shit a B+, man.
Yeah. I think this is the first time I'm gonna go above a 5.
Oh.
So I'm feeling like a decent to strong 6 on this.
Oh, nice.
It's very fun. Yeah. It's got a banging soundtrack
too. I like this shit. And then the next movie, Fast and Furious 6, which is my first movie I've seen. Sorry. for the whole franchise. It was the first one I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was just because of pure curiosity. Like a lot of my friends were like, "Oh yeah, it's pretty cool." Okay, I've never seen any of the other 5, but I'll check it out. And yeah, for the most part,
it's cool. This is the one with Letty being reintroduced?
Yeah. So it turns out at the end of Fast 5, we find out Letty is alive this entire time,
and
she just has amnesia.
This is when the movie delves into trying to use complicated flashbacks to explain what happened to characters, like
retcons and retcons and retcons and retcons and
retcons. Man, people think that like the Star Wars universe is fucked, or like anything with like a large expanded universe is so messed up because of new installments. You guys have never seen the Fast and Furious franchise.
Nope.
Because
just wait until we talk about 9. This is gonna be crazy.
The writing, whoever is in the writer's room, like they just take like whatever ideas they have on the board. Like if they have it pinned onto like a cork board, they just take it and they just throw it onto the ground, and they're like, restart it from the ground up, and just like find a way to reintroduce them.
Yeah. So basically, in this movie, Hobbs encounters this terrorist group or something called from Luke Hobbs. I think is that his name? No, not Luke.
No, not Luke Hobbs.
Deckard
Shaw. Uh-huh.
His name is Deckard Shaw, and played by Luke Evans. And their whole thing is they want to get some MacGuffin.
I think it's a MacGuffin. I think this is when they start reintroducing MacGuffins.
To control something, to control computers or whatnot. And so obviously Hobbs can't do this alone. So he recruits the entire crew again, and this time he has a deal for them. If they're successful, he will expunge all their records.
Yeah. Is it so? Did Hobbs choose to bring Toretto onto the mission because like he was the only criminal to like elude him, like their skills and stuff like that?
Well, something no, because remember in Fast 5, Hobbs' entire crew was killed.
Oh yeah,
and the person that helped him, by like the cartel.
The cartel, and then Dom. It's the part on the bridge. I remember that.
Yeah.
When they're driving the safe across the bridge, and then Hobbs' crew gets killed, and then Toretto actually extends his hand to like help him out, even though he's been trying to kill him this whole movie. Okay, now I remember.
Yeah. And so because of that, at the end of Fast 5, he's like, "I'm gonna give you guys like 48 hours, to figure something out, or like to whatever." And so because of that, now he recruits them to come help him defeat him. And this is the movie. I remember when this movie came out, everyone was like, how long is that runway?
Yep, the runway. Everybody talked about the runway.
Yeah. This is when they started really going like
it's like
taking it up a notch each step.
You know, there's the concept of jumping the shark. Of like when does it get too ridiculous? This hasn't jumped the shark yet. It's kind of like swimming in the ocean with the shark.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous because the main big action set piece involves stopping an airplane from taking off on a runway. And usually runways, they're not the longest things in the world. It's just enough of a stretch of land to like, so the airplane could pick up speed and then take off.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's like, when they were on this runway, it's like there's some person at the end just like quickly adding more land. They're like, hurry, we gotta fucking build this runway.
And so basically what they do is, I think they try to use harpoons to pull the plane down with
weigh
cars.
It down. Yeah. And then so Hobbs and Toretto could jump into the airplane and start fighting the people inside. You know what part I remember from that fight scene? It's when Dom like jumps off of a box and like headbutts the other big guy.
No, and
like dives down.
No. The Rock grabs him by the legs, carries him, and then Vin Diesel flies and headbutts him.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like a tag team move.
Oh my god,
it's crazy.
So this is when they start like having fun with it a bit more.
Yeah,
it just gets so insane.
Yeah,
and then
I think if one of my favorite parts is when they're trying to stop a tank. You remember that?
Is this the part on the freeway and then like they crash and then Letty like flies off and then Dom crashes his car so he could fly mid-air
and he lands on a car.
I remember.
Like a cushion.
Oh yeah, this is when they introduced the fact that cars break falls. Like they're cushions in this movie.
But
they shatter the fuck out of that windshield.
No, they did.
No scrapes. Dom's wife beater, his white t-shirt, not a single scratch.
No blood, nothing. But my favorite part of that was when Tej was like, "Guys, we got a problem. There's a tank." And then Brian, best line of the movie. Hey, we do what we do best. We improvise, all right?
Yep.
And then they do their thing, and
then that's when like everybody's constantly jumping from car to car.
Yeah.
I remember the part when the tank eats Roman's car and he jumps from his car onto another one.
Yeah.
And they're just speeding down the highway. Oh yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, eventually at the end they do stop Shaw.
And
Deckard.
then they get the freedom back.
Yeah.
And then they pull up to the tried and true Toretto house to say grace.
Yeah.
And that's how Fast and Furious 6 ended.
Then there's an after credit scene.
Oh wait, is it it's like, you know, the car crash and then
So we jump back to Tokyo Drift to the scene of Han's death.
So for anybody out there paying attention, in the timeline of this movie, we're at Fast and Furious 6, we're at the end of Fast 6, but the movie is jumping forward in time to catch up to the third Fast and Furious movie.
This is where it gets crazy, folks. So strap in. Okay.
Yeah, this is basically when the timeline gets fucked.
We find out that Han, because we saw him die in a car accident, right?
Yeah.
Like it blew up and everything.
It's like done in by what seemed to be a random driver.
Yeah. But turns out that
the driver
is Deckard Shaw's brother.
Jason Statham.
Yeah. And then he calls Toretto on his phone, and he goes, "Dominic Toretto, you don't know me, but you're about to." And then explosion.
And then he drops the necklace.
Yep.
In front of Han.
Yep. And that leads us directly into Furious 7. But before that, Josh, what did you think? What would you rate Fast and Furious 6?
Maybe like a 5. Yeah. I don't like it as much as Fast 5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this though. I think it's like pretty up there in terms of the Fast movies. So I would give it another A or B plus A minus.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we're moving on to Fast 7,
which
for a little bit of lore.
Fair, I don't remember much of it. But.
You don't remember much of it? I remember quite a bit of it. I remember a lot of the stuff leading up to it.
The biggest thing was that Paul Walker tragically passed away.
Yes.
He died before, in the middle of filming the movie.
Now, to be honest, other than like, I actually do remember a lot of like the action scenes and much of the plot, pretty well. But the big thing I wanted to see was how are they going to retire Brian? And I feel like because of all the stuff like culminating in like what happened outside the movie, like with the production and whatnot, what happened sadly to, Paul Walker, that it made Fast this is called Furious 7, huh?
Furious 7,
yeah, it made Furious 7. They keep on changing the fucking names on me. It there's more emotional heft to it. Yeah. Because I've been so attached to the movies. I've actually seen a lot of these like in theaters. I've been keeping up with it. But yeah, so Furious 7 is about Deckard Shaw, the villain of the last movie, Fast 6.
Yeah.
His brother, Jason Statham. I don't remember what his first name is.
Just Shaw.
It's Shaw.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna keep calling him Jason Statham. So the movie starts with Jason Statham visiting his comatose brother in a hospital, and then he blows up the hospital for some reason. Do you remember that part?
Really?
Yeah, he blows it up like the Joker, and his brother's still in it. He like blows up some shit around it.
Interesting. Okay.
So anyways, he's like, "Don't worry, little brother. I will find them and I'll take my revenge on you." And then Hobbs is like he's like doing something with like his like partner, the girl.
Yeah.
And then Jason Statham pulls up and tries to assassinate both of them.
Wait, hold on. Pause real quick. Try to pull your mic closer to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid that it might not be picking.
Oh.
Because you're speaking at me. You're not speaking.
Yeah.
To me. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, we can cut.
So
that.
anyways,
Continue.
what was I talking about again? So Shaw tries to assassinate Hobbs, his partner. He fails, but he ends up sending Hobbs like out of commission.
Yeah, into
broken
hospital.
arm. He's got a cast.
Can I point something out? Okay, so we said previously that whenever Toretto jumps into a car, it just, shatters the glass a little bit, right? It's like a cushion. But when Hobbs falls into a car, it smashes the entire thing.
Yeah, it fucking like caves
Pancakes it.
But yeah, this is the first time when someone falls on a car and they get injured for it.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, someone's after the crew.
Yeah.
And what Shaw does is
just terrorizes them the entire movie.
He sends a bomb
to
Toretto's house and blows it the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then now
also I also note that Brian and Mia have a kid at this point.
Yeah, they do.
And they're just trying to live a normal life, as normal as it can be.
But with this new enemy hunting them, they can't live a normal life.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Brian sends Mia and the son to like live with a friend, like in like South America, I think.
Yeah.
So then like Brian goes off with Toretto, and then they get to the bottom of who this is. Everybody comes back together, and
this is also where they introduce Mr. Nobody.
Oh, that's right, because that's where they get their intel from.
Yeah, it's like he.
Oh my fucking god!
For some reason he cut a deal with them. He's like, if you guys help me get what's it called, the eye or whatever the fuck. Yeah, if you guys help me get the MacGuffin, I'll help you get Deckard or whatever, some shit like that. And so they agree, and then their whole mission is to get the thingy, while they're also being hunted down by Shaw.
You know what? That's crazy because there's another villain in the movie, isn't it? Jimon Honsu, isn't he in this movie?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I remember.
And he works for Cypher, which we'll later get.
We'll talk about later. But I remember Jimon Honsu dies because someone drives a car into the helicopter. No, Toretto takes his muscle car, he drives it, and he chucks a grenade inside of it. Okay, but anyways, there's a lot of hilarious parts with it. There's a lot of like funny bits, like the part when when Toretto's like, "So what's in it for us? What did we get rewarded with?" And Mr. Nobody pulls out a big ass case of Coronas in a bucket, and he just places it in front of Dom, and he's like, "There it is. There's your payment." So yeah, hilarity ensues. There's a scene where The Rock flexes so hard he breaks his cast, and then he picks up a minigun. He starts shooting the helicopter.
He goes, but what does Letty say? "Oh, we need the cavalry," and he goes, "Woman,
I am the cavalry."
Jesus, in the streets of LA, mind you.
In the streets of LA. So yeah, this is when like, the writers are like, "You thought the runway was crazy? Check this shit out."
Yo, they got like Brian like jumping onto a bus, like hanging on for dear life. They got him like doing hand-to-hand combat with Tony Jaa.
Yeah, that's right. So it's crazy that like
wait, also they got planes flying out of skies now.
They do. The crazy thing about about Furious 7 to me is that there's a sense of a finality to it.
Yeah. Because
of like how crazy things are getting, and like the fact that like, like Paul Walker's passing and whatnot, that there's a definitive nature to Furious 7 that like this is it.
Yeah. So
they're gonna go all out. There's a part when Dom is fighting Jason Statham on a parking garage. And then he's like, the thing about street fights is the street always wins. And he takes his big ass foot and he stomps on the parking garage and he collapses it. His sheer might collapses a parking garage and he stops Jason Statham.
Yeah.
That all happens. They all
win.
They all win. They're like, yeah. And then came the ending, which I found to be pretty sad and poignant, like for a Fast and Furious movie, mind you.
And it's the whole thing was that their whole goal was to retire Brian's character with Mia, so they can because they have a family, so they they want to do their thing. But while that is very much like that scene is very much saying bye to Brian, it's also them saying bye to Paul.
Yeah,
it very very much so.
And then it's like there's that part, and then they also introduced that character Ramsey because she has a line at the end where she said, "Oh, so you're not gonna say goodbye?" And then Dom looks at Mia and Brian in the distance. The piano keys start coming in from "See You Again," and then he's like, "It's never goodbye," and then he walks off into his Charger. And then that whole part I think is so well done. And then like this is the first time I saw them digitally reconstruct a person through CG, with like Paul Walker stuff like that, with his brother being a stand-in.
That was his brother, yeah. Also that car, that white Supra, was Paul Walker's actual one of his cars.
His actual car.
One of his cars, yeah.
Man. So yeah, I feel like there's like so much about that ending that like came together, and then to top it all off, the cherry on top. It's the montage of all Brian's greatest moments throughout the series.
I think.
And then Vin Diesel's little speech, you know, whether you're a quarter mile away, halfway across the world, you'll always be my brother.
You'll always be my brother. Yeah.
It's like, no matter how like corny it may be, or like how like overplayed, or how much we like say it to each other, you know, as a joke. I think like that really sums up like, you know, how everybody felt about like saying goodbye to like this character and Paul Walker.
Yeah.
And then you get that like, what do you call it? Like that like exit where like everybody's going in one direction.
It's kind of like a fork in the road, and they kind of like drive off in different.
There's a name for it though, because that's what like fighter jets do and stuff like that. It's a type of like sending off memorial, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
So that happens, and then it ends with for Paul.
Yeah.
And I felt that to be like the best like ending for the Fast and Furious like series. In my head canon, Fast and Furious is over right there.
Yeah, like,
and I think it's a really
they could
nice
end it
ending.
right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you rate Furious 7?
I haven't seen it in so long, man. Maybe I'll give it like a B minus.
Yeah. I consider it my second favorite.
I think that ending is what stands out for everybody.
Yeah.
Just because of, again, what you said, everything leading up to that moment.
Yeah. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it actually.
Yeah.
Probably the same rating as Fast 5.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna get into
Fate of the Furious. Which
in my opinion came completely out of left field.
Really?
Because like I had a feeling they were gonna continue the franchise, you know.
Yeah.
But like I don't know what they could do because like there's a huge hole. The fact that Brian's not there, and this is the first time they're doing the movie without him. Well, other than you know like Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
But that's like a black sheep movie. It totally sticks out.
But
yeah, would you like to explain?
This movie is fun. It's like exciting. It's fast paced. Like the action scenes are cool and like for the most part they're creative.
Yeah.
And the whole story revolves around Toretto
being blackmailed.
Yeah, being blackmailed and having to betray his family, and so
blackmailed by Charlize Theron.
By Cypher, because she has his wife or past wife and his son, like
maternal
there we go that's a better
mother
word.
Yeah, biological mother of
his
Dom's
son.
kid.
Yeah. And so he's being blackmailed, but it's a cool movie, man.
Yeah,
like the chase scene of them trying to stop Dom in like New York.
And then
really
all the
cool.
zombie cars, like
all the
Cypher's
zombie cars,
just like let me just dump all the cars into the street.
Like, and they come out of the parking garage. I think that was practical effects.
That
was real.
I bet it was.
They did that. And then obviously they're driving on snow trying to stop a submarine.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And then The Rock takes a missile and diverts it with his hand.
He hangs out the side of his car and pushes it towards
motherfucker. Yeah.
Whoever the fuck. But it's fun. It's exciting, man.
It is really exciting.
Like I feel like the energy of the film is what it needed after Furious 7, because you know, like obviously, you know, Paul Walker.
So they want to like kick it into overdrive again and just like recapture, you know, like it's like, don't you guys remember like Fast and Furious is just like it's about like the big action and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, it's about all this like cool stuff, watching your favorite characters like do all this wacky things, and it's a lot of fun. It's crazy that they fought a submarine. And that's what I remember the most out of the movie.
I actually really like Fate of the Furious.
Yeah. They are again diving into characters' complicated backstories that are so goddamn convoluted.
Are they? Who this time?
Dude, it was Dom's past girlfriend ending up being his kid's.
No, but she was introduced in Fast 5.
Yeah, but like. They didn't talk about how like they had like a relationship with each other, did they?
I mean, it was kind of implied because in Fast and Furious 6 they were together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of implied.
Okay.
But ever since Lady came back, she's out the window.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. Fate of the Furious also reintroduces Jason Statham and the brother.
I forgot about that.
In a plane hijack scene where they saved the kid, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking.
They put headphones on him and they beat the shit out of all the goons.
Shaw kills one of Toretto's friends and he ends up recruiting them to be part of the family.
Yeah, because it turns out Han's alive. Oh. I thought it was introduced in this movie.
No,
my bad.
I'm just kidding. No. Stop as in like don't remind me. Don't remind me of that movie. But yeah. Now you're probably wondering, oh, are you guys gonna talk about Hobbs and Shaw? We would, but we're gonna be a little over time if we do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, my consensus is it's a fun spinoff.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's fun.
So...
The Rock and Jason Statham. Come on now. Like,
yeah. And then
as good
Idris Elba.
Look at me.
I'm Black Superman.
Dude, it's cool.
It's so good. He's like a bionic super soldier.
Yeah, for real.
And then they suplex him onto a rock.
Okay, if we go any further, we're just gonna.
Yeah, that's it.
But Hobbs and Shaw is fun.
I laughed my ass off throughout the whole
movie.
movie.
What would you rate Fate of the Furious? Sorry, we didn't.
Maybe I think I rated it like a 5.
I think I'd give it like a B+.
All right. Now to get to the real meat and potatoes.
This episode's gonna be long.
So, all right, everybody, take your bathroom breaks, intermission, because we're gonna talk about the latest installment of the Fast and Furious franchise, F9. That's just what it's called, right?
F9, yeah.
Yeah, the Fast Saga.
Yeah.
And Regan, what did you think about the movie?
It was the right dumb, stupid action I needed. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
It was the right thing that I needed to just sit back and enjoy.
It jumped the shark.
It jumped the shark. Although
it jumped the shark and attached a magnet onto it.
There were definitely some stupid things about it. There's definitely some things about this I had issues with.
So yeah, I guess we're not gonna dive too much into like summarizing the plot, unless it further bolsters our points we're making about our criticisms for the movie or what we want to talk about. But
we're just gonna. But the whole basis of this movie, it's in the trailers.
Yeah,
is that entire time, Dom and Mia had a brother named Jacob.
That is not talked about
at all until now.
Until the 9th movie.
Yeah, until now, because he becomes the villain.
Yeah, because we needed something else to introduce into the movie. Again, diving into a character's backstory unneedingly to like dig up some dirt from the past.
So it turns out that the reason why their father died was because he told Jacob, their middle brother. His father told them, "We need to throw this race
because we're in debt."
We're in debt. Does that make sense? I don't know. To me, it doesn't.
No, it does. I don't get it. Like, what does that equate to?
So what Jacob does is he cuts a fuel line or something like that.
Or like he like checks it and he doesn't do anything about it because like they explain that like he needs to open it and like check if anything's wrong, and he just like looked at it and like closed the hood.
Oh no, but I thought they were working together to like make sure that, because that was the whole revelation that Dom came to, was that, oh, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And it would never be fucked up like that. Something like that. I don't know.
Something along those lines.
Basically, their dad dies because he gets like clipped and the car flips and it blows up.
And it blows up. It's just like it hits a fence and explodes.
Yeah. And
then Dom thinks that Jacob killed his father.
Like purposefully.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
So they have beef.
Yeah, they have beef now. And they settle it with a street race, of course.
Yeah. So the whole movie is propagated on this misunderstanding between the two of them.
Yeah.
That's the whole conflict of the movie.
Yeah.
And
So now there's this new MacGuffin that Mr. Nobody was transporting, because somehow it'll
when they connect the two pieces, it sends a signal to a satellite.
All the satellites
that'll allow whoever controls it to be in command of the globes of every nation's like weapon system.
Yeah.
So whoever controls it could just send nukes willy-nilly into whatever they want. So that's what they're dealing with. That's
Jacob's whole thing right now. He's working with some dude to get that.
And then that's the main plot line for the MacGuffin. And there's like a conflict, and there's Cypher also. She's in this movie. Charlize Theron. She has a new haircut. It's a silly looking bowl cut. And then there's another villain named Otto who
he's the main backer of Jacob.
Yeah,
and his dad is like a prime minister or something.
Some bullshit like that. Who they don't even introduce.
Yeah, and then that's basically those are the villains of this movie. And then man, I don't even know where to go from here.
I don't either. But we introduce Han. Okay, so if there's something crazy about this movie, it's how much it loves flashbacks.
Like retconning everything.
Yeah,
that we know.
it loves bringing in flashbacks that do not explain anything, they complicate things.
Yeah.
Because they try to explain how Han lives.
So we know Han died in Tokyo Drift, right? He somehow comes back in Fast and Furious, the 4th one. And he's in the 5th one and the 6th one.
Which means those movies took place before
it, right? Furious 7 comes out, we realize who killed him. Jason Statham.
Yep.
Now we know he's dead. For sure.
Yep.
Fast 9 comes out, and we realize this entire time he's actually not dead. He's alive.
And if you think about this, their explanation that Han lived is that Mr. Nobody fabricated some like magic trick to make it seem like he died.
They don't explain what he did.
So
they just call it a magic trick.
But other than that, does that mean that Mr. Nobody and Shaw were working together? Because like, why would he like fabricate like Han dying then having Shaw like be the instigator?
Well, Han also said, when Shaw came knocking, Mr. Nobody worked his magic. So, I don't know. I guess in a backward sense,
so like
they knew that Shaw was coming after them.
Yeah.
And so Mr. Nobody was like, we
got to prepare this.
Yeah, we need to prepare for this. Because Han was working for Mr. Nobody to make sure
this whole time.
Oh my god, dude, this sounds so confusing to me. And I'm sure it's confusing everyone listening to this. But this whole time Han is working for Mr. Nobody to get the MacGuffin. And that's why he's alive. It's because Mr. Nobody helped him.
That's like the most simple like explanation. That nobody like snapped his fingers and worked his magic.
I'm even confused right now.
Okay, yeah. So that's how they reintroduced Shaw. No, not Shaw.
We know the how. We know the how.
Yes.
Well, how Han came back. Why is he back?
Because he knows that girl. Which is another dumb character introduced through a flashback.
A girl that we meet halfway through the movie.
Yeah. This movie's a fucking mess. That's the big thing we could say. If that sounded like stray tangential thoughts.
Yeah.
No, that's what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
In the middle. It grinds the movie to a screeching halt.
Yes, it does.
And it's ridiculous because the movie is placated with like these over-the-top ridiculous scenes of action and these parts that seem so self-aware. That's another thing about the movie is that the writers want to play into the fact that they're self-aware. How like the characters survive like random bullshit, like falling onto cars doesn't hurt them. There's a part when a big ass SUV falls on Roman and he just teleports out of the way, and then before that he's trying to shoot up a bunch of like militia people and they're shooting him with AKs.
Yeah,
he gets lit up, but he's got no bullet holes.
And they use Rome as like this vessel to talk about how we're invincible.
Yeah,
we're superheroes.
It's like a wink to the camera, you know?
Yeah,
it's like I get that the writers are kind of like playing into it. They're like, oh, we're self-aware, like, you know, we're so dumb. But like it comes off like rather like corny. I don't know, dude. It's like I honestly think it was pretty funny when they first introduced it, and then it just keeps on going and going and going.
Exactly.
And you're just like, yeah, I get it. And then there's all that stuff happening, and then random fucking action scenes happening.
I think we need to talk about the biggest thing about this movie.
Then that is
they go to space.
Fuck.
They don't go in the atmosphere. They go in space.
Yeah, they actually like.
And how they went into space? Well, it turns out that after Sean and Twinkie did their whole drifting thing back in 2006 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Turns out now they make rockets for cars.
And they are like astrophysicists.
Some shit like that.
Because of the Japanese guy, their friend.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't be putting rockets on cars. It's like, when did this happen? But, you know, they just needed to find a way to reintroduce them. Nothing that has to do with drifting. Nothing that has to do with the other, like, aspects of their character. What character they had. But it's the fact that, like, they are characters that existed in the past. We just need a way to reintroduce them. And that's how they do it.
And so Roman and Tej, they go out to space because they need to somehow stop the satellite, but it doesn't work. And so they end up ramming the car into the satellite.
there's that whole big bit where Tej is like, the numbers don't lie, Roman. Just listen to physics. When has any of you listened to physics in this series? This is when
I
it's
think
like,
that's part of the poking fun at it.
Yeah, I think that's part of like the poking fun at it. But like, if there's anything about like all the stuff that's happening, like how meta it wants to be, how self-aware, and like all this crazy shit that's happening, I felt exhausted.
Yeah.
That I was just like, this is too much because like. They want to poke fun. They want to make things serious. They have all these flashbacks. It's so uneven. And man, is it fucked.
I mean, like, the car chases, the action scenes, yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, especially that first one when Dom nitros onto like the post and he Tarzan's his car into the side of a mountain, and Letty and Dom are just sitting there like, that was new.
Without a scratch.
Yep.
Without a scratch.
And it's just like a repetition of that, just over and over and over and over again, like 4 times in the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much all the movie is. And then it's heightened by the fact that everybody's performances are so hammy and like so over the top, and you're just there to watch crazy shit happen. It's like anime.
It's like we could go on about this movie because there's a lot more stuff that we can talk about. But that's just the gist of what we thought of this film. Is that, I don't know, it's just it kind of loses us a bit.
Yeah, it lost me completely.
I mean, for me, it's like I still enjoy all the action scenes. Like that's fun for me. But then like all this like flashbacks and trying to explain it and then making it harder, and then like it's just the tonal issues. It's a bunch.
It's
of stuff.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, I would say that I had a lot more fun laughing at the movie than I did laughing with it.
Definitely. Like,
and I guess that's what the writers might have been going for, but
no, on my
I don't even know.
On my Letterboxd, I put I've never laughed out loud at a Fast and Furious movie until now. After 9 films, even the spinoff.
Yep.
This is the one I finally cracked, and I just couldn't just laughed.
It was such
so
a fun
ridiculous
experience in the theaters. It was such a fun experience
Dude,
to like bear witness, in front of our eyes, all the shit happening. It made for a great back to the theaters experience. If you it was great to watch this with everybody, and I commended for that.
Well, Josh, what would you rate it?
What would I rate it? Man, this shit is a 4. It's like I'm not gonna give it a 5 because like it's not forgettable. It's a 4 because of like all the ridiculous shit and like me laughing at the movie rather than with it, and all the problems that I have with it. It's long. It's
2 hours and like
it's exhausting.
Something minutes, bro.
Also, I got to give it a bunch of props for that one scene where they lock John Cena up in that complicated ass prison cell, and there's just a frame of him. It's a frame in a frame of him looking through this tiny window, and he's just staring longingly at the family. He's like, I wish that were me.
Oh, God. But yeah.
What do you rate this movie?
Excuse me. I gave it like a B-.
A B-. So for everybody out there who's still watching this, this episode went on a little longer than
anticipated.
Most episodes that we have.
Yeah.
But I found it really funny how, like, from 1 through 8, we're pretty organized with how we're talking about the movies.
Yeah.
Like, a summary.
For the most part.
We could remember, like, how things are happening, and we could, like, recollect and tell you our thoughts, like, simultaneously. Our, like, reaction to, like, how we're describing this movie, how it's so, like, scatterbrained, this is exactly how the movie portrays its information to you. It's so scatterbrained.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, that's the Fast and Furious series.
If you guys stuck around to the very end, we love you and we commend you for that. Thank you, because I'm exhausted now.
I'm getting sweaty.
F9. So, we would say go watch it. That's up to you. But
go watch it with if you're all vaccinated and you can watch this in a theater safely. Go get some friends.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It's a lot of fun to watch with people because our theater experience was really great.
Yeah.
So make it a celebratory thing.
Yeah.
Watch it with your homies.
Yeah. So watch it. Come to your own conclusions.
And if you're already a fan of the Fast series, you're probably gonna watch it anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking out in this long episode.
Yeah, exhausting.
We really appreciate it.
We really appreciate all you listeners for being family.
For being a family. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, sorry. God, I'm tired. If you guys enjoyed this podcast, please let us know. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at coworkers.podcast. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, I'm Regan.
And I'm Josh.
We'll see you guys next week.
Salud, mi familia.
Salud.